All right, guys, so a lot of you really liked the first head kick tutorial video we did a couple months ago. A lot of people messaged me saying that it's really getting them results and making them feel better. But what I felt is that it's actually missing a couple key things that are not even related to end range strengthening at all, which is why I wanted to make this brand new unlock head kicks from hip high to head high kicks tutorial video for a complete beginner. If you're a complete beginner, you're kicking to the hip, you're getting pain and stiffness, by the end of this video, you're gonna know the key things that you need to do in order to unlock head kicks in the next 4 months. Now, the big thing to keep in mind is this is gonna look a little different for everybody, but if you follow the 3 main things that I outlined in this video, there's no reason that it shouldn't work for you too, no matter if you're 20, 30, 40, you've been training martial arts for 6 months or 6 years, it should work. So without stalling further, let's get into it. So number 1 is actually dynamic stretching. So this is something that people usually use to warm up right before class, like leg swings and things like that, just like lightly swing their leg, getting used to it. The problem is when we're trying to actually get a higher kick, a lot of times, even if you have a lot of good static flexibility, or let's say your splits can get up to here, a lot of us can't really use that at a high velocity. So that's why dynamic stretching is key. And I'd actually recommend everyone do it daily. So leg swings are one of the easiest ways to get some type of dynamic stretching in, because what it does is it reduces your body's stretch reflex. So what that means is it's not as resistant to actually stretching at higher speeds, and that allows you to get your leg higher. So for example, we're swinging the leg, instead of just like kind of doing it light like this, like how we do for warm up, I want you to really swing that leg up and get that hamstring used to end ranges. So this is going to be a little bit more effective than just stretching, reaching for your toes, going to the splits, because now your body's starting to get used to your leg actually being at those heights, and it starts to warm up over time. And a lot of us are working busy desk jobs where we're just sitting all day, or we're a little older, not really getting as much activity as maybe we used to. So this on a daily basis, even once to twice a day for 10 minutes is a very good strategy in order to start getting used to throwing your head kicks. Now, we talked about leg swings forward and back. I would also recommend going side to side. So pretty much from here, also getting used to going side to side. Now, this is very important for your roundhouse kicks, because obviously this is kind of similar to the position we're gonna be in when we throw the roundhouse. And those are, if you could only pick one exercise for dynamic flexibility, I'd probably pick that one. And number 2 is actually something that's very neglected when it comes to unlocking head kicks. And it's actually not related to the hips at all. It's actually the foot and the ankle. Now, what happens when you're trying to kick higher is, let's say we're just trying to hit a leg kick. We're just planting on that foot a lot of the time, just coming out of it. Body kick, coming up a little bit on the toes. But when we're trying to kick higher, that was not the best kick ever, but when we're trying to kick higher, we want to come up on the toes, and it takes a lot of foot supination and ankle stiffness to actually express a high force at a higher height of your kick. So for that reason, we really want to make sure that you actually have the strength in your foot and ankle to do that, as well as your calf. Now, a lot of us, like we do have kind of like flatter feet, which is not a bad thing on its own, but sometimes when we're not able to produce that ankle stiffness, it can be a problem. So if I were to pick one, or let's say 2 exercises that are going to help a lot with it, the first one would be the single leg calf raise, if you're able to do it. So you pretty much want to hold on to a stable surface or the ropes on the side. We're going to kind of wrap one leg over the other, and we're going to try to come up as high as you can, hold for a second, and come back down without letting the heel tap the ring, and then back up. This is a pretty wobbly surface, so if I were you, I'd probably pick something a little more stable. But this starts to get the foot arch stronger as well as the calf. So you'll see I'm kind of slowing it down. But once you're able to, you can come up a little bit more quick and then slow the way down. If this is too hard for you, what you can do is a staggered stance calf raise. It's hard for you to control the top or get very high. You can start to do the staggered position where the back foot is kind of supporting you, and then you're coming up from there, trying to push up in a similar way that you're going to end up doing in the kick. Because what happens if you can't come up very high in this position is we also have a hard time pivoting. Then a lot of people start to compensate and try to swing this leg really hard, and then they get pinching in the kicking leg. Whereas if this leg can come up high, it's easier to pivot and then it's easier to kind of get the shape of the roundhouse kick over onto the bag or the pads or whatever. So the foot and ankle is a huge one for making improvements to your kick. So try that out. For people that are a little bit more advanced, you can start to load more into like a lunge or a squat pattern with your heels elevated. So literally just trying to get this foot up in a squat or a lunge pattern. We're going for our lunges and we're trying to stay with our heels up. So ideally, if you want to kind of get the foot a little more, then your heel is just like a little tiny, like almost like 1/4 inch off the ground. If we're trying to get the calf a little more, then you're gonna go for height. So it just depends which one's harder for you. So those are some variations you can try. All the details for reps, sets, hold time, it's gonna be in the caption below. Now, building on the foot and ankle, when you can do it in control, like what we just did, we wanna start adding in a little bit of that natural elasticity, right? Which is gonna bring us to plyometrics. This is where we're actually gonna be using that ankle stiffness at a higher speed like you would in a high kick or when we're trying to actually like use it in a fight. So that's what we want to kind of start with. So what we want to do is we kind of start on one foot. The first entry point into this is just a single leg pogo, right? So right here, we're just trying to kind of take off of one foot. You can start with 20 seconds, then progress with 30 seconds. Then when you can do 45 seconds, we can start to add in a little bit more explosiveness where we like take off. So the point is we're kind of taking off a little bit faster, thinking about the floor is lava, and now we're bringing the whole leg into it from the foot all the way up. And that's gonna translate to your explosiveness when we actually are trying to throw the kick. And number 3, which is the secret sauce of unlocking high kicks, is what I've made an entire previous YouTube video about, which is all about end range, joint and muscle strengthening. So why that's important and why I believe so much in loaded stretching, loaded mobility, is we don't just want to get flexible for the sake of it, right? Or we don't just want to get flexible and then it tightens up the next day. We want to be strong enough that we can actually control those end ranges. Like we don't want to just like have to swing it up here and then fall over. We want to be able to lift it and hold and come back down. Like we want to be able to actually control it, teep off, do whatever we want to do. That comes from obviously just reps and technique, but also from developing that end range strength. Now, just briefly, I'll go through it a little bit. There's 2 main areas we want to strengthen while they're shortening for the demands of high kicks, which are the hip flexors. While they're shortening, we want to strengthen them, which is going to allow us to pretty much raise the leg higher, and then that way we can kick higher, right? Then the 2 areas we want to strengthen while they're lengthening are the hamstrings and the groin, because we want them to kind of accommodate for my leg to come higher so that I can just swing the leg up there pretty easily and I can not have to worry about my hamstring or my adductor getting in the way, right? I can just swing it. For that reason, we want to work on hip flexors and glute, almost like hip flexor and glute strength while they're shortening. So shortening to the side, as well as the hamstring and the adductors while they're lengthening. Now I have a whole entire YouTube video on this, as well as joint rotation that I've already shot. I think it goes into great detail, so have a look. But the reason it's important is to develop the strength and control needed. So watch the previous video as well. In the caption of that, it has a whole entire caption of how many reps, how many sets, how many times a week to do these exercises. That combined with the first 2 tips here should help you a lot. So here's a summary of the exact formula that you need in order to go from hip high to head high kicks. So number 1, like we talked about earlier, leg swings, 10 minutes, 1 to 2 times a day, forward and back and side to side. Number 2 is going to be foot and ankle strengthening. So single leg calf raises or single leg foot and heel elevated lunges or squats, about 2 times a week as well, with the reps and sets in the caption below. And number 3 is loaded mobility exercises twice a week. Focus on the areas that you are the weakest at, whether that's hip flexors, abductors while they're shortening, or hamstrings and hip adductors while they're lengthening. So if you don't know how to do that, watch my last video as well. But if you do that for 3 to 4 months and slowly progressively overload how high you're going with your leg swings and how intensely you're stretching and how much weight you're using with your loaded mobility, as well as your foot and ankle strength, you will start to get head kicks. And if you don't, and if you're still feeling lost and stuck in your journey, then there's many other things that we can slightly tweak in your routine to help make sure you're making the best progress possible. And we've already helped over 200 fighters, whether 40, 50, or 60, doesn't matter. We've already helped over 250 people actually make this transformation themselves, going from hip and body high kicks to head kicks. So if you want to learn how to work together, just DM me Fighter or comment Fighter below and we'll work together. But in the meantime, try this. Check out my last YouTube training as well on my hip high to head high kick series. And if you found that valuable, make sure you leave me a subscribe, make sure you put a like and a comment on this video. And I'm looking forward to helping you out more. So stay tuned and happy kicking.